Hi guys, it's Jeanette with Backroom Creations. Come on in. There we go. Let me know when you're where you're watching from so I can tell you hi. Do that. I am on YouTube. Oh, Lucy, you better go away. Hi, Miss Tracy. How are you? Okay, we're rolling. Come on in. I am Jeanette from Our Backroom Creations. Let me know where you're watching from and what's your weather doing, because we had lots and lots of rain today. Hi, Patty. How are you? Oh, had lots and lots of rain today. Look, I need some water in here. Today we're going to get a little grubby like I'm ever neat. We're going to make some grubby jars. Yes, rain, rain, rain. My grandchildren's lane flooded. My husband had to go down. Skippy had to go down. Hi, Darlia. Lots of snow. You keep that snow there. Hi, Kelly. Watching from cold, rainy New Jersey. Yeah, it was 64 here today, but it was very much raining this morning when I went to work. People forgot how to drive. Now I have to drive 40 miles to work, so a little bit. Gotta add some water. If you gotta add water to your paint, always use like distilled or, well, I use drinking water. It's better than tap water. But we're gonna shake this up a little bit. We're gonna make some grubby jars. I've got several projects on here, and we'll just make until our time is up. So the first one, so you can use a jar, you know, you have to pay for them. Or you can use, this is a jar that I've already painted white, but it had some kind of logo on it. I got it at the Goodwill for like a quarter. You can use, see, pasta jars are lovely. Hi, Linda. Cold, rainy Michigan. I remember Michigan weather too. I used to live up there. But you can, oh, Shelby. Shelby. Are you up here, Shelby? Come here, give me some water, please. I forgot the water. It's a good thing she's up here. Just in the one big side. You can use, like, this is a nacho cheese jar. So you don't have to go out and buy things to make them. You can just use whatever you want. And tonight I'm going to show you a little bit about doing a grubby can. So this is one that I have already, thank you, honey, that I have already put paper towels. You can see the paper towels from right here. And it helps with some of the ridges. And then you paint it. So we will take our paper towels. And I just use, let's see, Bounty. Yeah, the Bounce. No, there's another word on it. But I usually put a couple layers on it. And I use, where'd they go? Oh, here they are. These are the big tomato sauce cans. And that's what I use a lot for my bigger ones. Or soup cans, ravioli, stuff like that. But I just take Mod Podge. Now this is my I just poured a bunch in it, but it's my grungy Mod Podge. You know, because when we're doing grungy jars, we got to use grungy Mod Podge. So this is just a jar. Now, on some of them, depending on what kind of can opener you want, if it's got rough edges, now I glue the cloth on top just like I do the jars, so I really don't worry about it. But sometimes I will just take a pair of pliers and just crimp that down if you're worried about it. So what I do is I get the, select a size. You almost can't get them. My husband used to complain so much, Flip would say, don't get the pick your size. I want a full sheet. Well, now it's a full sheet. It's just, you get what you get. So I've already had my brush in my coffee stuff. So I'm just going to take, see, it's already going to be brown. But this is just Mod Podge and a little residual coffee. So I worry about the bottom first. That I want it along the bottom. Sometimes I let the little black rim show out. Sometimes I don't. Kind of just depends on my mood. Hello on YouTube. So I just take it around. And depending on, you know, if you're worried about the little crinkles in the can showing or you're not, but this helps tremendously. And if I really don't want to see the little crinkles in the can, I put a couple layers on it. You're watching from the Philippines. Oh, awesome. Well, welcome. So, you know, one piece won't quite do it. So I just keep on going around. You could tear off a piece. I did that in the beginning. I'm like, why did I do that? I mean, you're not going to be able to tell how many layers are on there or anything. I just keep going around. And then when you've had enough layers and you put a good coat on it, I leave mine. I don't try to dry them with a heat tool or anything. Because set them in front of a fan, it'll go a little faster. I usually I'll do a whole bunch at once, and then I'll go set them to the side to dry somewhere. Then after you get enough layers on it, then you just come around and do one good layer on the outside. Push that paper towel into those crinkles because you want it to adhere really good. You're trying to hide the wrinkles, but also you want it to not have like an air pocket or anything. And then after it dries, or, you know, because you can still see the crinkles a little bit. If that bothers you, you can just put another layer of paper towels. And of course, your fingers will start to stick. And it doesn't matter if you use Grubby mixture, you know, your Grubby Mod Podge during this, because you're going to turn it grubby anyway. Must have hit there we go. All right, so then I just take the top and I just bend it in. And there again, if you put the top material on there, you don't have to worry about it. If it bothers you, you can tear it out, but don't tear it out till after it dries, because then you can just pick it off. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that part. You can get the wrinkles in or out or whatever. And then you just let it dry. Let it dry for at least a day. Okay. And then you turn like this. Now I did paint this one. I let it dry. Still got the paper towels inside. But you don't see as many wrinkles, or the little, I call them crinkles. It's just paper towels, Stacy. It's just the select a size paper towels. So if you don't want to see any of the ridges, just put another layer of paper towels on there, let it dry, and then I painted it. I usually paint the bottom last, or if you want to cover it with a piece of material or cover it with a paper towel, whatever you want. Usually I just paint mine. So here's one painted. Now I have several printables that I have. Most of them I purchased off of Etsy. Here's a cool one. It's a Red Cross bandage. So if you guys wouldn't mind sprinkling me out, I'd appreciate it. So there's that one. I have little ones where I did the little Dollar Tree cardboard boxes. I did little ones with those on there. This one, all I did was put coffee and Mod Podge on it. No paint, nothing. And did that one. So I do like these. They're a nice size. You can stack them. You can make little spice jars out of them. I made a square one. Hi, Giselle. So here we go. So we're going to use our colic elixir. Anybody ever have a colicky baby? My first one was. Oh. Now you want to leave as much room as you can towards the top because your cover's gonna, go around. You know what? Do I even have a cover big enough? I may have to make something. Let's see. So these are muslin coffee grunged circles that we cooked them in the oven. Yeah, so this one's just going to go barely over it. Let's see here. All mine are the same size. So I just bake a whole bunch. My husband will be like, what are you doing in there? Burning the fabric? Like, yeah. And some of them do get like a crunchy edge. Like it's stuck to the pan. But I kind of like that. So let's, what do I got down here? Oh, I have some coffee grunged cheesecloth. You can use that if I can get it apart. I coffee grunged it and then let it dry so it may not come apart. Whoop. Thank you, Denise. Now this stuff, I usually leave it layered over because I usually cut it into strips to like use it as a tie around. Hey, Dan, how you doing? And of course, when you use the coffee mixture and like we're peeling this apart, cinnamon is going everywhere, but at least it smells good. So we'll pull this one apart and then we'll kind of fold it back. Ooh, or it can tear. So see, it's really thin on a single layer. But I also seen, if you've ever ordered any, was it on Jubilee fabric? I can't remember where I saw it, but they call it tobacco fabric. It kind of looks like cheesecloth, but it looks thicker. I want to try it sometime. So we're just going to fold this kind of into our can size. So we have a little bit hanging over. And you can also trim this if it's, because it'll be square. Yeah, let's do that. All right. So first we're going to put our colic elixir on here. When you're using paper, you don't want to have it too thick, but you want to have enough to make that stick. And I have, this came with one of the Mod Podge, I think the brayer. So like a little thing, use an old credit card. I'm going to put mine a little bit down towards the bottom. Of course, I put too much, but that's okay. So I kind of start at one side and just rub down. You can use plastic if you want to, like a saran wrap. I just start at one end and I'll just roll it around. Don't push too hard. or it will tear. I tore like 3 labels over the weekend when I was making them. I'm wiping off my excess glue because you don't want to take it back across. That'll help it tear. So if you get all that excess glue, pushes the air out, your label's more apt to stick. And then I just take my finger and go around the edges. And then we have our colic elixir. Okay. Now you can, I have Miss Tracy's grunge mixture. If you need to know the recipe, if you go to My Sweet Home Living on Facebook, she has it pinned to the top of her page. That one's got glue on it, so let's get another one. Some of these need some help. They need some alcohol. If you have crunchy brushes, swish them around in some 91% alcohol for a few minutes and it'll soften right up, and then wash them out. So I shook this up, but when I'll show you just a minute, Deanne. Oh, this part, tissue or paper towels. If you go back to the beginning after it's done, I did do one other one, but this one was dry and painted. So you don't necessarily have to paint them. Using coffee grunge mixture and instant coffee and Mod Podge, you can get the grungy look without painting it. Like this one here. This one has been paper toweled. It has been taken, and I'll show you how I do this. All it is Mod Podge and instant coffee, just back and forth, because instant coffee dissolves when you get it wet. So that's all that was, no paint. So same paper towel, you can see the part inside, and then I got to put another coat. I was just painting the bottoms. Oh, I did another one. I did a red one. That was a cough or a elixir too, the colic. And then you can do jars. This was like, what's it? Stops seasickness. It's got a picture of a boat on it. And then I did do some coffee on it, and I left it a little bumpy. And I still have to do the top on that one. So you do your paper towel. You can paint it if you want. Depends if you want like this, where I have it red, but you have a little bit of coffee grunge. Or if you like the can, this one, where it's really coffee grunge. And that is solid. That is not going to come off. If that was like a high dollar glass, I would just have to throw it away because it's not coming off. Okay, so we have this on here. Now, when I do them, and I do them in like a little factory, I do one step at a time. I will paper towel them all, let them dry for a day or two. And then I'll come back and I'll put just the labels on, or paint if I want to paint it, let it dry. And then I'll come back and start doing the grunge or just the coffee and Mod Podge. But this one, we're going to dig down in there and get some goopy. You can see in there, I did mix it up, but it's, now I didn't heat mine up. Hi, Sharon, newbie from New York State. Welcome. Thank you, Patty. Patty's on YouTube. She says they all look good. So I do, I'm back to streaming on YouTube and Facebook at the same time. So if you think I'm supposed to be on and I'm not on Facebook, hop over to YouTube on the same name, Our Backroom Creations, and I'm probably there. So you can get that cinnamon grubby mixture at the bottom and use it. Quite welcome, Sharon. So I usually don't paint my label unless it's a white label. If I printed it with my printer and it's just white, I'll go over it. But since it's already grunged, I might go over it just a tad. So see the thickness and all that stuff, because I got my brush clear to the bottom. It's okay if you get it, like say if you get it on your label and you didn't want it, while it's wet, you can just take a paper. Now it stained it a little bit. So we'll just go over it so I can get all around it. You can still see it. But if you want it to be more visible, just take a little paper towel. And then you have a little primitive can. Love the yummy look, isn't it? Now, I don't like coffee, so I probably put a little extra cinnamon in mine just because I don't like the smell of coffee. But, so you could do it just this way. So I'm going to leave this one to dry, and then I'm going to show you how I do the dark, grungy goodness. So let's get another can. So here's another one just painted. I did rip the paper towel out of that one. I don't know why, just because I guess I felt like it. So we're going to set our grungy mixture to the side, and we're only going to use Mod Podge and instant coffee. Thank you, Marilyn. So this is a jar of coffee that from the Dollar Tree. It is cheaper in my area to buy the great value ones from Walmart. And then I just keep filling this up because I actually put my brush down in here. Now, eventually, when it gets too nasty, I'll probably throw it away and just go buy another one or put my coffee in something else. So I get a little Mod Podge, and then I stick my brush down in there. See how I covered it all? It will come clean. Trust me. So when you first put it on, it's gonna flake. It's gonna be globby. So my first thing, see, looks horrible. Then I'm gonna get some more Mod Podge. That's why you have an extra jar, whether it be one of the little containers of Mod Podge, you put it in another container. That is your Grubby Mod Podge. So see how it's turning dark? And I just keep brushing it until all that coffee has melted. Now, if you want a few little nodules of coffee sticking around, don't brush it all out. Okay? So Mod Podge and coffee. And you can pour it out in a little container or on a little plate if you want to. I make so many of these and sell them here locally. I'm going to put some online. This is my Grubby coffee. I don't drink coffee. I don't like coffee. I don't like the smell of coffee. But I make them. Things we sacrifice for our customers. I like to make them. I just don't like the smell. That's why I use more cinnamon. Cinnamon. So the more you put Mod Podge on it, the more it's going to blend that coffee in. So I have used no paint. None. Well, no, I did on this one. But you don't have to. If I started this one with just a white paper towel, it would have looked the same. So then you want to get around your top, even though you're going to put, fabric or whatnot on top. I always do the top. And then you can do the bottom if you want. I'll have to put this on wax paper. But you can keep grunging that. You can put paper towel on there, whatever you want. Okay? So there's that way. That's my glue one. It does get over everything, but that's okay. So now we're going to go back and see here. Let's take the heat tool to it for a few minutes. This one's just got grunge mixture on it. All it is water, instant coffee, cinnamon, and vanilla. Now the recipe is on Miss Tracy's Facebook page, My Sweet Home Living, the different ratios and stuff. I usually put a double batch in a quart-sized jar. I just want to dry this a little bit so it's not so drippy. And you don't just have to use like, old looking um, labels in black. I've done it with colored labels. Let's see, do I have any? I don't think I have any left in here. Oh, I do have one. I haven't finished it. Grab that one. So I still have to put some string around it and stuff, but I did this one for Mother's Day. It's the Grubby. I painted the jar pink, but I put a little extra Grubby on there. But that's in a colored label, so it doesn't look bad in that as well. Okay. So now we're going to take our cheesecloth that I folded up, and I might trim the corners a little bit. Let's put some hot glue around. And you don't have to glue it if you don't want to. If you just want to, set it on there and tie it on there or put a rubber band on there. Thank you. Thank you, Deanne. Yeah, Patty, I do. So if you want to, that's so wet. I will probably cut this a little bit because it's covering my label. Patty asked if I sell them in my shop, and I do. I have a room at a local store here locally called Fresh the Market. They have food and merchandise in there. So I kind of just gave that a little trim so it's not covering my label so much. Okay. Oh no, Marilyn lost sound. She could try going out and coming back in. But yeah, it stormed here this morning too. So I have drop cloth that I ripped and I coffee stained and dried. And I also coffee grunged some black. There you go. Thank you, Stacy. And then I coffee grunged some black and white check. And then I have some homespun with red. I didn't coffee grunge it. All my other homespun's downstairs because I make rag balls in the evening at my desk. So we can take this. Where's my front? I usually just tie it. Sometimes I tie it in the middle with a bow. Sometimes I tie it off to the side, especially if I want to leave like my tails longer. You don't want them hanging down in front of your label. So I'll tie it in a knot. Oh, hold on. Oh, what did I do with it? I've been rearranging in my room. Oh, there it is. I have some Sweet Annie. It's very brittle. Sometimes I have taken spray Mod Podge and just spritz to help hold it together. This is kind of a big piece. Let's see what else we got. I took one and broke it in half. So we'll just tie it in there. So we'll tie another. Thank you, Deanne. Tie it in there. And then we'll make our bow. And if you want to use jute to make a bigger bow, you can. I usually just tie it with whatever string I'm having on there. It's still a little wet in the back. I'll have to trim off our tail. So this is a Grubby can. We're so used to doing it with jars. And I started saving this. When I started crafting again, I started saving everything. I've let go. I've let go. But my bigger cans I save. They make nice pencil and marker jars. If you have a lot of markers or pencils, color pencils, take stand. It smells good too. So that is a Grubby can. We only have 15 minutes, so let's finish this jar. So this was the seasickness jar. And we need one of our Mother's Day one. I'm going to get, I think I'm going to get a pink ribbon and kind of grunge it up a little bit. So if your circles, I make about 5 inches. 5 inches usually is a good standard for jars. Thank you, Marilyn. It's a little bit big sometimes for jars. That's why I make sure I kind of put my label down so we're not hiding it. How I center mine, pick which side that you want down. That's a nice crunchy one. And then I put my jar in the center, and then I put a dot, put 4 dots, north, south, east, west, or 12, 3, 6, 9. And that's how I determine how I put my, now if you want to just put glue on it and slap it down, be more than Storm. So Storm is taking out people's power in the area, cold night. Oh my gosh. We don't want no more snow. I'm in Ohio, where it could snow in probably 9 out of the 12 months. And has before. Well, May, June, July, August. 5 months. It doesn't snow. I don't think it ever has in September. And then I just go around and glue it down. But that's how I glue it, to make sure that I get it on in the center. Like I said, you don't have to put a bunch of glue on it if you don't want to. But I would soon just have it down. I put that crunchy piece in the front. So that's on. So let's put, we have a dark red piece of homespun. I go stock up on homespun when Hobby Lobby has their fabric 40% off. This is a little bit wider piece. If you don't want it as wide, you can fold it in half. We have flooding here. If you weren't on earlier, my husband had to go down and get my grandchildren there's a little bridge up into their trailer court, and he had to go take the grandkids through the water. The little one thought that was fun. I'm going to do this the same and just tie it off. Now, I don't think I'm going to put a bow on this one. I'm just going to like tie it. It's not as long as my black one was. Tie it in a knot. You don't have to put, Sweet Annie on them if you don't want to. I make some with, some without. If I ship them, it usually doesn't have them. Or if someone wants some with Sweet Annie, I will ship it with the jar in the bag and just tell them to, hold it here and tie it around it. Like, there's our seasickness. What else we got? Oh, I did this one right before I was going live. This is a vegetable remedy. I'm not sure what that means. There we go. So I did this one with yellow, and I just put coffee grunge on it and glued one of my my circles on top. Just 2 pieces or 1? 2. I tried doing the grungy balls with ripping the fabric. That's too much strings. So now I cut mine. They still get stringy. It's not as bad. When you do this, though, you do want to make sure you have stuff down on your table. Sometimes we use trash bags. Hi, Cynthia. How you doing? And if you think that your fabric strip is not going to stay on there, just tack it with a couple pieces of glue. Here it is. Sure, all the little pieces were on top. Got big pieces going on here. Let's find a little one. Here's one. That one's all off. So I'll just tie this in there. The Sweet Annie is very, hi Monica on YouTube, is very delicate. So sometimes I get a little aggravated with it and just don't put it on my jars. Because it does break very, very easy. That loops are turned out funky. There we go. I'll trim these a little bit. So this yellow is actually pretty bright, but when you put the grunge mixture over it, it turns it into that more primitive mustard. Like here's the yellow. Hi Sandy, first time catching me live. Watch me lots. Oh, thank you, Sandy. See this yellow? It's pretty bright. But after you put that grunge mixture on it, it turns it a little darker. Alrighty. That piece we can save. I made this out of a bigger one. I made it smaller so I could put it on like these things. I don't have time today to do any of these. I'll do those next time. But all I do with those is I use the antique wax from Waverly, and it kind of makes them look a little leathery, and then I put wax on top. So here's this one, and they look a little like faux leather. The lid still comes off. I do the inside too. And then if you wanted to put extra grunge on it, you can. So we won't do those. Let's see. We got 7 minutes left. Make sure you're watching Craft Around the Clock. If you're not, it's a fabulous place to watch lives, make friends, and get inspired. Let's put that in there so it doesn't. Let's see. We could paint this. So I use the Waverly Antique Wax. I mean, really, no matter what color you paint things, thank you for the hearts, Patty. You can use whatever you want. So I usually take a rag. My husband buys the big bags of rags. Got a sticker on it. And I usually sometimes I use a brush, sometimes I just dip it down in there and then just rub it on. I usually wear gloves doing it though. Let's pop that off. So the wax actually goes a long ways. Uh-oh. Forgot to Take my sticker off. Always, always, always take your sticker off your projects. Especially if you're going to give them away or sell them. You always want to take your stickers off. And those come off really easy. And then if you don't want to do it that way, you can, this stuff is like really goes a long ways. So I'll just like messy paint it like that. And then take my rag back and come and do it. But it kind of looks like faux leather. A little bit. Now you have to be careful a little bit with the paper mache containers, because if you get them too wet, they start to like disintegrate on you. So you don't want to like totally saturate it in paint. I put some on and then I wipe it off. And then usually the inside I need to use the brush to get it in the corners. Now see, sometimes you'll get like spots, whether there was something on the little box or if it's glue, residue from glue. But these go really easy. You can get paper mache boxes online. You can get them at Hobby Lobby. These came from Dollar Tree, actually. I just took the whole box. I didn't want the heart shapes this time. I took all the hearts out and I took the whole box. So it doesn't take long. And then I usually let this dry a few minutes before I go putting the label on. And I do the inside. Usually where the little creases are is the worst to get stuff in the little crevices. That's why I'll come back and use a paintbrush. And if it's down in the corners, it's no big deal. Just let it dry. Just gives it more character. I don't want globby, but see? Now, for some reason, there was something on, whether I did it, I let it sit on there for a few minutes. So that actually looks pretty cool. Like it's old leather. It's not, you don't have to like paint it solid. You just want to get a good coat on most of it. And then when you, especially if you use a towel to rub the rest of it off, if you paint it, it's going to be dark. I mean, it's brown, it's dark, but you're not going to get those little, like, see, if you paint it, and this is wax, but you can use it as a paint or a stain. See, if you just did that, it's going to be totally brown. You won't have all those little textures to it. Now, if you want it to be darker, you can always leave it on there or put another coat on it. I'm not sure who's up next after me. I was running a little low on time tonight. Thank goodness hubby fixed supper. So I don't get home till about 6 now. There we go. If you don't want to paint the inside, you don't have to. Oh, I hear some thunder in the background. See, that doesn't take very long. It has those spots. If you like put your finger on it, it's going to put more spots on it. And of course, I usually wear gloves when I do this because it does make a mess. You can leave the lid on while you let it dry. Now see, that little piece there started coming up on me. So I'll just take a little bit of Mod Podge. Paint that back down, or you can use the glue gun or whatever, because I got it wet. It's on Facebook, Monica. It's facebook.com/groups/craft round the clock. And I didn't get it into my description because I screwed up and had to do it again, but I will go back and put it in there. Or I would if my hands weren't so nasty. And it's round, not around. So that's the difference. There you go. So make sure you stay and watch the next crafter. I appreciate you guys coming out and hanging out with me. If you like what I do and what I say, please give me a follow. And I'd like to see you here again. All right? Thanks, guys. Have a great night. Stay safe and stay warm and dry. Oh, Floyd said crafting with Shelly Designs is next. Thank you, honey. Bye, guys. Oh, wrong one. Too many gadgets. Bye, guys.